Hello and welcome to Allie in Sweatpants. My name is Allie and I am wearing sweatpants. We are joined today by sweet Simey boy who hopefully will let us film this in peace. We also have our sliding glass door open and there is a nest of little baby birds and there are 4 of them. I just was spying on them today and their parent birds come and feed them frequently. So we might even get to hear some little baby birds. If you are new here, a very warm welcome to you. I hope that you enjoy. And if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you back. Today is a normal podcast episode. So we'll just get into it. I have some finished objects and works in progress. We have lots of socks this time around because that's just what's been really scratching the itch for me has been socks. So we'll just get started. I have been on a huge DK weight sock kick because I started with these and then realized how excuse me. I started with these and then I realized how pleasantly quick DK weight socks feel compared to sweetie boy. Compared to fingering weight socks. So the 3 that I'm about to show are all Legacy Fiber Arts in their DK sock base. Quite a while ago I treated myself to 5 skeins of their DK weight yarn so I could have 5 pairs of thick socks for this coming fall winter, which I know we're going into spring now. Well, we're in spring, we're going into summer now, so it's not the most practical, but it doesn't matter because I'm enjoying it. So this is the Dinnerman's colorway. And it's beautiful, but it is very different from the reference photo on the website. It's a lot more yellow than on the website, and it's just not really my color. However, we just went to visit my mom's side of the family in Ohio, and my aunt, who we stayed with, let my mom borrow her like winter muck rain boots. And my mom commented on them being bigger than she was expecting from my aunt. And my aunt said that she has a bigger size of those boots so that in the winter, she can fit a thick pair of socks in them. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, yep, this yarn is gonna be for her. So all of the DK weight socks that I'm knitting in 48 stitch count, and I'm working them on, let me see here, 3.25 millimeter needles. So I did a 2x2 ribbing on these and a German short row heel. So these are gonna be for my aunt for Christmas. And then following that, I was like, cause I tried those on because her and I have pretty similar shoe sizes and everything. And so once I tried it on, I was like, oh no. I was like, I like these so much, I want to keep them. But I knew I didn't really want to keep them because, like I said, it's not really my color. So I pulled out another skein that I have. This is, again, Legacy Fiber Arts in their Painter's Palette colorway. Which is just so fun and so beautiful. It's rainbow, just rainbow speckles all the way through. Again, 48 stitches, 3.25 millimeter needles. I did it basically the exact same as those. I did the 2x2 cuff and the German churro heel. And because these are thicker socks, I typically make the leg of my socks 10 centimeters and then I start the heel. And for these, because they're thicker, I did 12 centimeters and then started the heel. So they're gonna be, you know, ever so slightly longer, which should be nice when it's cold. Which we are getting hit here in Southern California, at least my part of Southern California. We are getting hit with the May grays so hard. It actually sprinkled this morning, which couldn't tell you the last time it rained in May in Southern California. So it's not warm necessarily right now, but you know, when it's cold again, that extra length will be nice. And so following straight off of that, I was like, I'm having such a good time, I'm gonna cast on another pair. This is their Fox Paws Speckle colorway. And I was kind of getting over the stockinette socks. And so I decided to just throw a little texture on these. I just made it up. Here's the other one. It's really simple. It's just a 4-round repeat. You knit 3 rows and then you knit purl 1 row. Knit 3 rows, knit purl 1 row. And it creates this really pretty texture. So for this one I did a 1x1 rib and I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. And I think I forgot that I was doing 12 centimeters on the leg because these ones, looking at them now, look shorter than the other 2 that I made, but that's okay. So yeah, I have 3 finished DK weight socks and I'm very excited. I probably will start wearing them now because like I said, it's not the warmest here yet, and so I can actually get a little bit of use out of them. So following that, I have another pair of finished socks for myself. Again, in Legacy Fiber Arts. My mom and I purchased their, what did they call it? It was basically every Sunday, Advent Sunday or Sunday in December, you open up one of their micro sock sets, which are a 50-gram skein of sock yarn and a 20-gram mini. And so this was one of them. The colorway, they called it Twinkle's Tea House, which my mom and I kind of call these our Easter socks because for some reason to us they just scream Easter, but here they are. They're kind of funny to show because of the texture, but these are the Blueberry Waffle Socks, which is a free pattern. It is, I think, intended for DK weight yarn, but it's, I mean, easily modifiable for fingering weight. I do, for myself, I do 56 stitches on 2.5 millimeter needles. And it was pretty easy to modify. And because sometimes I feel like when you do the toe without continuing the pattern, sometimes I feel like it can look kind of weird, like kind of jarring. So I decided to do I did a heel flap and gusset, but I didn't do a slip stitch. I just did a stockinette heel flap because I just thought that way it would kind of tie in the stockinette toe a little bit better and it wouldn't be quite so like stark of not continuing the pattern down the toe. But so yes, I did the Blueberry Waffle Socks, and I had done the Blueberry Waffle Socks once before and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was nice, but I really enjoyed making it this time around. So I foresee quite a few more pairs in my future. Then I finished a pair of socks for my boyfriend. This pattern, okay, these are the rose petal sandwich socks, which is a new to me pattern. I only just discovered it. But it is, I think, a really pretty stitch. So these, because of the pattern repeat, I couldn't do 60 stitches, which is typically what I would do for my boyfriend. So I did 64 stitches on 2.5 millimeter needles, and I was worried they would be too big, but because it's basically a ribbed sock, I think it works just fine. And this yarn is from Knit Picks. It is the Stroll Tweed sock yarn in Dalmatian. Oops, it's getting kind of blown out. And this yarn is a pleasure to work with. I've really enjoyed working with this yarn. And so he wore these for like a night, but then I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm gonna need those for my podcast episodes. So they've been put aside, but now he can wear them. And then I have one last finished object, and it was a pair of socks for my mom. So I actually don't have them with me, but I will have her take a picture, send it to me, and I will insert it. I knit the heel toe do-si-do socks for her out of Knit Picks Felicini in the concession stand colorway, which is this yarn. And I love doing the heel toe do-si-do socks with fingering weight yarn because it makes the stripes, fingering weight yarn, obviously. Self-striping yarn is what I meant, because it makes the stripes into zigzags. And I think it just looks so cool. And once I do a couple rounds, I find it pretty easy to memorize. I don't need to refer back to the instructions. Unlike this pattern, I started being able to read my work, but I was never horrific, awful, fluff in my mouth, sorry. I was never able to fully put aside the instructions. For the heel toe do-si-do pattern, I am able to after a couple rounds. So if that's something that's like on your mind when looking for patterned socks, there you go. Other than that, I have two half-finished objects. Can you guess what they are? I would love for you to just try to guess what these are gonna be. So the first one is another pair of socks for myself, and I just got the urge to knit some very classic looking socks, and I had this butter yellow yarn in my stash from Universal Yarns. It's their bamboo pop sock, and I think it's the daffodil colorway, but it's just a straight up stockinette sock. I did do a heel flap and gusset, but again, I did a stockinette heel flap because I really just wanted it to look simple. Now, this yarn is a light fingering weight yarn. So I have knitted on 2.5 millimeter needles before, and I find that they don't hold up the best. They seem to wear out quicker, obviously because the gauge is looser, but they also just get slouchy really quick. So I have been knitting these on 2.25 millimeter needles. So my typical stitch count for myself is 56 stitches on 2.5 millimeter needles. And because these are 2.25 millimeter needles, I am doing 60 stitches. And I think it will work out just fine. So I've kind of hit a snag on these because, like I said, I'm sort of burnt out, or I was sort of burnt out on my stockinette socks. I think I'm starting to come back around to them. But I have finished the gusset decreases. I don't know if you can see that on the second one. I have this much more yarn left, which I think and am hoping is enough to finish these socks. So my last half finished object is another sock. And this is one that I started so long ago, I can't even tell you when I started it. I almost ripped it out because even back when I started it, I was like, I don't really feel like working on these anymore. Which is funny because I think that this yarn is beautiful. This is from LaRue Cotton, and it is the sock base, which is the same as veganyarn.com sock base, which is organic cotton and tencel and elastic, but this was the old base, so it's organic cotton and bamboo and elastic. And I think it is so pretty. This was a one-of-a-kind, something in my eye, so sorry. This was a one-of-a-kind colorway, and I love it so much. So I brought it back out because I wanted to start a pair of socks for my boyfriend, and I didn't have an available needle. And I realized that's because I had put this back on the needles because I was hopeful that I would pick it up and I would work on it. And so I looked at it and I was like, it really looks like I'm super close to like being able to do the toe. And I measured and I was literally 1 centimeter away from starting the toe decreases. So I spent like 2 hours, finished the last centimeter, did the toe. And then these are gonna go kind of away until I decide that I want to finish this pair of socks. But half finished. So now we will move on to my works in progress. I'm gonna take a sip of water first because I feel a catch in my throat. Okay, works in progress. I will start with this because I do have socks as my whips, but let's break up the momentum. Let's go on to something that's not socks for a second. So this is my t-shirt that I've been working on, and I can't even remember if I showed it on the last episode or not. I know that I showed my Give Me the Tea shirt, but that has been on mega hold because I was waiting for yarn, and I was also trying to come to grips with the fact that it was not the right size. It was just way too shallow in the armpit. I'm not even sure if it's wide enough, so she's in the basket, she's on the freezer, you know, she's taking a break. And in the meantime, I started a new sweater. This is actually the flax, is that right? Flax sweater pattern? I believe so, by Tin Can Knits. And seriously, if you haven't already, go to the App Store, get the Tin Can Knits app, and you will not be sorry. Seriously, they have maybe 9 patterns on the app, and you go into the pattern and you pick what size you want to make. You pick what weight of yarn you want to use. You pick, do you want it long sleeves? Do you want it short sleeves? Do you want it cropped? Do you want it full length? What do you want for the neckline? Like, you fully plug in everything that you want, and then it curates the pattern for you. And it has the most amazing system for tracking where you are. And say for the raglans, you have to repeat it 24 times, right? So you do a raglan and then you knit, and then you do a raglan and then you knit. So in the app, you click and it will keep track of where you are. It will say you're on 1 out of 24, you're on 4 out of 24. It's so good. So I'm making that. I think this is the medium/large size. And I am super excited for it. I am using veganyarn.com's fingering base, and this is called Failed Olives. And they were selling it at cost. So I got each of these for $6, and I think it's stunning. So it's a brown with like green, gray bits. It's not quite that pronounced. It's more, yeah, it's more like that. Variegation, but it's beautiful. And I would highly recommend this pattern for a beginner, because the raglans, you don't do make one left, make one right. You do knit front back, knit front back. It is genius. It is so good. So I've been working on that, and I have just recently, literally just, I don't even know if you can see that, split for sleeves. Let me see. There you go. That's the inside, but you get the idea. Not very much done. This has taken a pause. Really haven't worked on it all that much, but I have caked up my second ball, so I am hopeful to carry on. My next work in progress, which again really hasn't seen any love or attention, are the first impressions pants that I am making for my friend's new baby that's coming in August. This is the 6 to 9 month size. I am making it out of old hobby stash yarn. It's 100% tencel, so it's like buttery. And I have finished the crotch shaping, and all I have to do is knit a little bit more and then split for the legs. It's just, yeah, sometimes, you know, when you lose the momentum with a certain project, and then it's kind of hard to go back to. That's where I am. But I will still have these done in time for baby's arrival in August. So first impressions pants, free pattern. If you follow Inga from Knitting Traditions, you know all about it. Following that, we will get back into socks, because I have 2 more to show you, both for my boyfriend. I will start with this pair. This is a skein of yarn that I have had in my stash for a very long time. It is from the web shop called 5 Wise Owls. Again, it's the same sock base as veganyarn.com. And I am just doing a 4x1 ribbed sock for him. The colorway is called WB Yates. And it has just some green, blue, brown, yellow specks in it. I think it's going to be overwhelmingly a white sock, but have some specks. And the last sock is for my boyfriend, and it is the blueberry waffle socks again. So, we are getting blown out. So it is, again, I'm doing the stockinette heel so that it mirrors the stockinette toe. And the yarn that I am using I just had the ball band. Haha. Is King Cole Cotton Sock 4-ply in the olive colorway, which is 58% cotton, 38% polyamide, and 4% PBT. And it's nice. It's really nice to work with. It's definitely not like the most elastic cotton sock yarn that I've ever worked with, but I have knit 2 pairs of socks with this yarn before, and they turn out really lovely. So blueberry waffle socks again. And that just reminded me I have one last sock to show. And it is in my second to last skein of Legacy Fiber Arts DK Weight sock yarn in their espresso bean colorway, which again, online, quite a bit more brown. In real life, it's kind of a grayish, brown gray type of color, but these are the laid edge socks, which is another free pattern, and I only just started it. Here's the yeah, I am really enjoying it. It took me a minute to figure out what was going on, you know? I definitely did it wrong the first time I tried it last night, and then I cast them back on this morning, and I think I have figured it out. And with the rose petal sandwich, these socks, you learn how to kind of like baby cable without a cable needle. And so for this, I just sort of experimented and was trying to see if that technique would work with more than just a 2-stitch cable, because these are 3-stitch cables, and it does. So that was very exciting. I don't need a cable needle. I don't need to like hold any stitches, you know, it's just you just knit in a different way. Okay, we're done with socks, I promise, for now. My last works in progress, I have actually only just pulled out again, because I've seen so many podcasters start and finish so many beautiful blankets that I'm like, why haven't I finished a blanket? My mom's made 2 blankets for me, and I haven't finished a blanket. So I pulled out my blankets. I pulled out my crochet blanket, which is actually what I was working on just before I started filming. Here she is. Theoretically, she should be big enough for our queen size bed with a little bit of hangover on the sides, but we will see. These are all Lion Brand Touch of Linen colors. I was gonna try to name them, but I'm not gonna try. So I pulled my granny stripe blanket out, and I pulled out my Learn to Love Steeks blanket out, which again, theoretically, should fit our queen size bed once it is steeked, but I did the edging in the army green, and then the rest of it I'm doing in the cream colorway. And again, this is Lion Brand Touch of Linen, which is basically a 50-50 cotton linen blend yarn. And my goal is to do, well, initially my goal was to do 10 centimeters a week on this blanket. So maybe my goal can be 10 centimeters a week on this, and you know, each color repeat a week on this. I don't know, we'll see. Lofty goals, and it's about to get warm, so. But here's how much progress I made since maybe last Friday, I want to say I pulled it out, where this little blue marker is. I will put on the screen how many stitches I cast on, because I'm pretty sure I made a note of it, but it is quite a number of stitches. So the rows do not go very quickly. But yes, I really want some blankets that I made myself. I think that's it. I feel like I just like sped through this because my battery is at 1 bar and it was really stressing me out. But I hope it was okay. I hope it was good. I hope it was informative. I do have some whips that are just not really getting worked on. My Julie jacket hasn't been touched probably since the day I filmed my last episode. My pink ripple bralette hasn't been touched. My Give Me the Tea shirt hasn't been touched. So I think the only one that's actually going to get ripped out is the Give Me the Tea shirt, and I will make a different t-shirt with the yarn. Other than that, it's just hibernation. I think I have 3 cardigans started and all of them are on hold, which is such a bummer, but I just don't feel like I have garment mojo at all right now, which is such a shame because I would love some new beautiful garments. But alas, that is not the season that I am in right now, and that's okay. I will have hopefully more time to make beautiful garments. I have some stuffed animals on my radar that I would really, really love to knit soon. I think now is a good time since I am not in my garment phase. But yeah, I'm enjoying socks. I'd love to maybe do some beanies, just like those fun, quicker accessory knits. I think would be really, really nice. I found a pattern for a 2-in-1 balaclava and beanie pattern, which I'm not sure if it's still free, but they were offering a free version of it for a while. So I downloaded it while it was free. And I've been thinking about doing a video on like the free patterns that I have downloaded recently or had my eye on recently, because there are so many good free patterns out there. But yeah, I think that's all, my friends. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're working on things that make you happy. And yeah, I'll be back when I have more to talk about.